Slavery was introduced when they brought the Indian people here. That was when slavery was introduced. And then it included the blacks. Slavery wasn't good. I mean, I don't agree with slavery. And I don't want to elaborate on that because I know the history about that. So I don't like slaves, even up until that's my opinion. My grandfather never talked about slaves. That was a very quiet subject. No, we never talked about that. You see? What I'm talking about say was what I learned in school, but we never mentioned slaves in the house. My grandfather was a wood chopper. He used to chop wood, and he came home with trees on his shoulders. He was a big man, and he used to wear a red scarf. Every day, hot, cold, that never out of the red scarf, because if he came across a tree, he used to pick up folded the red scarf, put it on his shoulder, and put that lump of tree on, and he brought it home. Now our job was, we had a big yard, and we had that sawhorses that you put your trees in. You cut it up. We had to cut it up. We had to glue it. That's right. Hit it in half, and we used to sell wood. And my grandfather made a garden. We used roses, carnations, everything. We were selling. That was our living. Wood and flowers. And mostly weekends, we used to make bundles of 100, and we sat, as I said, just put it outside the gate, and people, even European people, used to come around and collect, buy the wood. That was our living. When I come home from school, I had to make the wood and chop the wood and all that. That was my job. And then I had to do homework. That's what. And we were brought up very, I mean, how can you say that, stringent, understand? We couldn't step out of line. Even I myself, I remember one time I was about 6 years old, and I fought with another boy, and I bit him, and I got the hiding of my life, you see. And you know what, that I had one more after that, and I never had one after since. I mean, because I know what discipline is. And I mean, I could have been a gangster or anything, but no. That hiding that I got kept me on the straight and narrow. And I always tell my children about that, because I'm a father of 4 boys and 1 girl. Well, they're all married now. But when they were young, I used to eat them. That's how I brought my children up. Understand? No, we shouldn't be embarrassed about our heritage, because I think slave is slave. If you look down to it, if you come down to floor level, it's they that built the country. I am proud, as an individual, I'm proud of my surname. And I mean, from what we were until now, I mean, I've excelled. Understand? Because if I were there, if I stayed I wouldn't have been here today. I had to better myself. And I don't want my children to be like me. I want them to be better. Understand? That's why I'm as a grandfather, and their mother and their father try to give them more. Understand? His father, my son now, you see that toolbox inside. He's going to pass that now as a toolmaker. My vrou, as enige een vir haar gesê, net verkeerde woord gesê het, Dat sê sy. Ek is Mrs. May. Ek is gedruk en getuk tot binnen by Pretoria. See? Because she was proud of her surname. Because she was automatically, if she's proud of her surname, she's proud of her husband as well. So, wat ek haar uitgehaal het, she was also on the farm. Understand? I took her out of there. And I look. Niet ik alleen nie. Met die man van Boes gehelp, het ek ons mekaar ook gelag, you see. Because they be all. Understand? Ek is nie hoogmoedig nie. Maar net ek het daar onder vandaan. We came from the ashes. And we came up. God lifted us up. Lifted us. Daar is ek vandaag.